vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa, and please,
Hearing John real well, I don't know about other people in the room.
okay, well, I'm kind of by the mic, but we got the mics out, or the mic out.
Well, let's do a test.
Oh, we take these? No,
I mean,
we just phone.
well, we can't move it any further, can
No,
we,
no,
Barbara?
it's that, the mic is that.
Yeah.
The other piece.
Oh, this, well,
That one there,
yeah, this is the mic.
yeah.
We can spread it out, I don't know what'll happen over there. Well, why don't we
It's okay.
test going around, Danny, you say something?
Hello, can you hear
You
me?
hear him? If you have a
Yeah.
problem, let it go. Okay, good,
Good afternoon, Monica's here.
good.
Yep.
Present, Shannon.
Hi, Roger, Cookie.
Hi, Cookie.
Hi.
John West here, my friend.
Pam
I
Flanagan.
hear you.
Still here.
Very good.
John, how are you?
I would suggest that when people around the room speak, that they identify themselves first, so we can be sure we know who's speaking.
Go ahead.
Tiffany Conklin here.
Tammy,
I can hear you.
I'm
I
here.
can hear you.
Yep,
Barbara Carey here.
Dick Picola here. Great.
Hey, Roger,
Yep.
it's Claire.
I
Okay.
almost did it.
That was like a roll
Hey,
call.
Claire.
That was
Is
like
there
a
convenience
roll.
sake, Tom and y'all's name?
Scott
and Marion.
Yes.
Okay, so that was kind of like roll call.
Well,
Thanks,
it was.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, so far, we don't have,
Steve,
Deb Harder, she's not on Zoom yet, is she?
no,
No, and Steve. And George is on Zoom?
George is on Zoom.
I'm here.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7.
We have Tina Gillen. I think this is, Frank, is that you? Frank Fredericelli?
Frank likes to be quiet.
Okay. And then we just had somebody come in with a 0323 phone number at the end. Could you tell us who you are?
Bill and Lynn Chauvin at 332.
Okay,
Ferndale.
thank you. Thank you.
We know we
Okay,
won't hear
well-
from Steve, but, well,
I've got information from Steve.
oh, okay.
I just got a brief email about 5 minutes ago from him.
Yeah, okay, I got probably the same one.
Okay.
Or I got a text, actually.
Only had one topic on his email.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well then, my clock says 2:02, so I'm gonna call this, July meeting of the Wildwood
Recording
Springs
in progress.
Wildwood Springs Condominium Association to order. And, John, confirmation of proper notice, please.
Yes, we posted it on the 14th of July according to statutory requirements.
Okay, and Pam, you're content with what we just did with the sound check?
Yes, and we have, definite quorum.
Very good, thank you very much. Okay, I want to welcome everybody here to the meeting this month, and thank you for attending, especially those owners who are in the room there or on the phone. I appreciate you being at the meeting here with us today. First order of business is to review the minutes from June 20th from the regular board meeting, which were contained in everybody's packet. I trust that everybody had an opportunity to take a quick look at them. Is there a motion to approve?
I have a correction,
Go ahead, Claire.
or an addition actually. In attendance in person, you left me off.
I did.
Yeah, I was there.
So sorry, thank you. We sure make sure it's there.
Well, you can, okay, I'm on in person and on Zoom.
Oh,
Well,
That one.
that's the count.
That's
There's
it.
the count. That's the count's wrong.
double
Okay.
credit.
All right. So sorry.
Okay, so with that correction, is there a motion to approve the minutes with the correction of adding Claire's name and removing one of Pam's name?
Yes.
Okay. Shannon said yes.
I
Have a
second.
second?
I
Claire
second.
Dewhurst as amended.
Okay. Anyone opposed? And the minutes are approved as corrected. Thank you. Time to review the financial matters. John West, you want to take that?
Yes. Well, we have our financial report for June, up to June 22nd, which is the first 6 months of the year. As far as anything happening in our financial world, we are approximately $3,900 over budget. That's probably, and it is because of the insurance payment that's been made. And we have a fluctuation of different groups being above and below, but the specific thing is based on the seasonal activity with the utilities, for instance, the grounds. We have plans for further repair of the buildings, but we have not as yet gotten to them, and yet they're budgeted, etc. All is well. There are several changes I'm sure John will be talking about in regards to our recent assessment and the results of that, which will be taken care of when we get to John's meeting. Are there any questions? We have a copy of these.
If I may add to it, John, the good news is the buildings, of course, our major work is covered by reserves.
Yes.
And so we're running under because we haven't had any major issues. So if we go along as is, we may end up with a little bit surplus in the buildings this time. So
Will
we'll
that
cross our
include-
fingers for
Will
that.
that include the work that's being done on the termite place?
There you go. Of course, that's yeah. That will. I mean, we'll still, I think, be okay, but it is going to be. Well, we'll get to it soon. But it's a sad situation.
I
Very,
know,
very,
very sad.
very tough. Yeah. Good point, Pam. Also.
Thank you, John.
Yep.
Oh, you finished, John?
Yes, I am.
And John Haggerty, is there
Yep.
anything further you wanted to add?
Yeah, we'll go with the units that owe less than 1/4. There are none of those, but more than 500. There are 16 units that owe for 1/4. There's one unit that owes for 2/4. And of course, there's 2 units that owe 3 or more quarters, and those are the ones that have legal issues. We'll move on to the legal issues. And we all know 364 has been foreclosed by the Bank of America. It was an issue of both the unit owners. The couple passed away, and it was a reverse mortgage. It's understanding that there was we have not heard anything back yet, but there was supposed to be an option, I guess, yesterday. They said 19th. It was strange. It was a Sunday, but we have not heard any feedback, and the bidding was starting at $100,000. The bank currently owes $12,039.37 to us. They are challenging it, and the reason for the challenge is that of course, the banking industry in the state of Florida, through their legal processes, got the state and the legislature to agree that they would only have to pay 1 year's maintenance fee, or 1% of what the original mortgage was, whichever was the lesser, which of course is very unfortunate when you have units, when they foreclose, that owe 3, 4, 5 quarters. But if they, in the suit, for the foreclosure suit, if they do not include the association as a defendant, then they're liable for the whole thing. Bank of America apparently forgot to include us, and so that's why we are showing the $12,039. Now they're challenging us, saying, well, yeah, just because we made a mistake, we shouldn't have to pay all this extra money. And it looks like, at least they're threatening to take the matter to court and refile the foreclosure action. But we don't know where it is right now, but we've told our attorneys to protect our rights and collect everything we can. So that's kind of up in the air. So what would happen really would be that we're either going to get 12,000 or about 4. And there's considerable difference, so we're trying to protect our interests. John?
The last thing I looked at, which early this morning, the bidding on that unit was up to $200,000.
Really?
And they have until the end of the day, I believe tomorrow, for the bidding to continue. In the description, etc., they talk about the fact that there could be liens and so on. They have no indication of any numbers on that particular bulletin or thing that's going out to the buyers. So it seems to me it'd be very difficult to go back again if they sell the place.
Well, in the state of Florida, the owner of record is responsible.
Yes.
So if the bank does not fully disclose to the owners, it could be a free-for-all for sure, but I'm sure they will because they have to.
They have to, right.
But should the owners buy it at a bargain price and take on all debt, my understanding is without the question they're going to have to pay the 12, and there's at least 2 years of taxes that are outstanding on it.
Well, it looks like that door is open still.
Yeah, well, that's
And,
good. That's-
I think, haven't we decided that we're gonna follow through with
Oh, yeah,
this?
we've told our attorney to protect our interests and go forward.
Excellent.
John, do we know how much the incremental legal fees will be?
That the owners will be responsible if we win, no matter what they would be. So it's if we don't win, then our legal fees to protect our interests would be out of pocket for us. If we win and they feel very comfortable that we will, because the law is on our side, they have to pay the additional costs.
What was the unit homesteaded?
It was.
Okay, so then the taxes, 2 years of taxes can't be that much.
No, I mean, you all know what taxes are on
Two-
these
2
units
to
better than I
3,000
do.
at the
Yeah,
most, yeah.
yeah, and it could be 2, 3. Well, they passed away a couple of years, yeah, so it's maybe 2 or 3 years at the most.
Okay.
Under 5.
But when you're looking at a unit that is valued, quote unquote, now in the high 280s, if somebody gets it for 2, I would think that they shouldn't be out of pocket. I mean, they should be out of pocket, but they shouldn't
Yeah.
argue too much with
No.
having to come up with another,
Yeah, probably,
basically
yeah.
$20,000
Yeah.
is what you're looking at if they owe about 8 in taxes.
The way it looked, it wasn't going to be long at that 200,000. I think that was just a bouncing spot that they put on the computer because it looked like there was some activity going on there. that
Okay,
was
and that
wrong.
is an up and downstairs unit.
Very
you know.
unique. I
Yeah.
was surprised. I didn't know we had townhomes of
Yeah, we
of
have,
2
we
stories.
have seven up and downstairs and 2 downstairs only. They're very small, they're called the 900 unit.
Yeah, my area, townhouses,
Yeah. It's kinda neat, they have a bathroom downstairs and 2 bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs.
Upstairs, yeah.
If you've never been in them.
Can we go in?
And you go in, I think there was a period of time when you could, before the auction.
There's pictures on the internet.
Yeah, I saw that. I did.
So, that's the end of my story with legal issues, Shannon, and I'm sorry, Roger, and we're going to old business, in my opinion.
What about 718, John? You didn't mention it.
Oh, well, 718 has stopped paying their maintenance fees, and we've got a foreclosure action starting there. So, but the big one that owed us the 22,000 is all paid and gone and off the books.
Right.
And so we're in good shape there. So when you're thinking about 558 units in today's world, to have 2 issues, it's almost a miracle.
Yeah, it really is.
It is.
What's
And that's
the,
thanks to you.
what's the story with 718?
They just stopped paying. I mean, they always ran in arrears, but now they're running more in arrears. And, you know, they filed all the actions against them. So we'll know next month if, you know, by then the foreclosure will be filed and the 60-day process goes. And it's about 120 days after they file for the people to pay the money and the fees and everything else. And here again, any attorney fees, any collection fees are all owed by the owner.
This is
Thank
the
you.
first time we've had this, is it?
Oh, well, no, don't, yeah, of course, I've heard this before, but some of them haven't. When I came here 8 years ago, there were 42 units in foreclosure or abandoned. So we had a long haul for a long time.
Yeah.
And we got a little experience on doing it. Lots of experience.
We had, by that time, hadn't we changed the document so that you couldn't rent before 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that all went in 11, if not
Yeah.
sooner.
I knew I was still here.
Yeah.
Are these people full-time residents or?
No, they had their daughter here for a period of time, but she's gone, and so it's been vacant for about 3-4 months at least.
What, 718?
Yeah.
People living in
Well, we'll have to check. Yeah. Yeah, I'll check on that, because to my knowledge, unless, well, okay, yeah, if it's rental, I'll check to make sure that Maggie has the paperwork on it. Yeah,
Bottom
okay.
line, after seeing people going into the house.
Okay,
All right, John, so we'll move on to the old business. You can talk to us about the second floor entryways.
okay, second floor entryways are somewhat stagnant. As you know, we've done some additional, and we're waiting for the contractor to finish a job so we can do the next 7, which will all be in Lakewood and Lakeside. So right now, there's no changes there, other than the fact that we're doing it at half the cost we did in the beginning. We have had a couple issues with the original ones where some of the caulking is bleeding, and the contractor is coming back to fix that.
All right, thank you. Next topic is the funding of the insurance. No, I think
Okay,
we're
as
gonna
you know, that's a special assessment that went out that the board approved to take care of the insurance, and the way it was divvied up is to pay basically half of last year's and have enough money for next year's, and put about $70,000 back in the operating fund. If everybody paid 1/4, that would have meant $97,000 coming in this month. We've actually taken in $213,000, so it's probably running 2 to 1, people paying the whole checks. At least the majority of the early checks were for the whole period, 4 months. So we're ahead of the game, and to my understanding, there's about 14 that haven't paid at all, but they're not overdue until the end of the month, you know, so pretty good shape.
Thank you. The next topic happens to be the upper unit flooring issue. We've been kicking this around for several months now. There was a recommendation from the building committee to go with the proposal of the flooring company that did the testing. We've done a second round of testing, and we've had a significant amount of discussion at the board workshop. So I guess the floor is open to attack this subject. Where do we want to start?
Pam has her hand up.
Go ahead, Pam.
Okay, I have either emailed or spoken to residents who have a downstairs unit. And I have not found one yet. And I've not just, if this just isn't Sherwood, I've talked to Lakeside people, I've talked to Pinehurst people, I've talked to Palm Tree people, and there is nobody that wants to have flooring above them. Now, when we bought lower units, we bought with the stipulation that the certain areas upstairs would be carpeted. And the people who bought upstairs bought with the stipulation that certain areas of their units would be carpeted. And unless we change the documents, because we cannot meet the standards that our documents claim, we cannot vote to change the policy. The documents have to be changed in order to do that.
If I may, it would behoove the action, if you will, and the decorum to have a motion on the floor to then discuss.
Okay. Okay. I move that we vote not to allow flooring.
I second it.
All right. No flooring.
All right, we have a motion on the floor not to accept flooring and seconded. We can now have discussion.
Now discussion. Who's up?
Well, that's.
Hey, John?
Richard's up.
Yeah, I think that has to be corrected to say vinyl flooring. It's not flooring. I don't.
Right. The specific that I'll include in the minutes, the specific flooring that we were designated with the polyurethane, the X45 or whatever it is, and the specific covering, yeah. Because we were only gonna allow a specific.
Yeah, I just wanted to be sure we had the right motion.
Yeah,
That's all.
so, no specific output right for now.
John Haggerty, in light of what Pam's motion was and her comments, should we address Steve Abuel's email to us?
Well, yeah, Steve Zabule email basically stated that because we cannot, no matter what happens, no, if we leave it with carpeting, of course the documents are okay. If we make the change, it could be challenged, and we probably would have to if people decided to challenge it, amend the documents before we would allow it. That's the sense you got?
Well, I want to make a comment on the email that I received.
Okay.
Steve, in the message that I got, specifically stated that the documents are incorrect, whether it be carpeting or flooring, and before we should do anything, we need to fix the documents to be accurate.
You said it better than I did.
And he got that advice from an attorney. So that's what he would like to put on the table today. He's not here as our president, but he has done research that indicates that because our documents are not correct, no matter what we ask people to do, they can't do it. So before we can even entertain any possible changes, the documents need to be made accurate as to what we can or can't accomplish based on what the engineers of the flooring companies have told us.
Okay. Further discussion, Richard.
Well, I would need a little more clarification of exactly what is in the document.
The document,
I'm confused by that at this point.
Yeah, well, I've sent it out before, but I can
Yeah.
get a hold of it. But basically, it calls for an STC rating of 72,
Right.
and vinyl wood is allowed if you can reach that point.
Gotcha.
Maggie?
Okay, that I understand
Okay.
where you're at. I just was confused about whether carpets are mentioned
Would you
in there.
bring my
or
set of
not mentioned.
documents that are on my wall cabinet there, please? Thank you. Yeah, it's, we've been told, for the quantification or clarification, if you will, that all testing, everything that you see, when you see a piece of material that says is such and such a STC or whatever, is all rated with a 6-inch slab of concrete. We have 4 inches. So we've been told by engineers, we've been told by flooring people that there's no way with the 4 inches we have and the space and the insulation that you can reach the 72. Thanks, Maggie, I appreciate it. But I'll read it exact, I should have it marked here.
My question is primarily whether it makes any comment about carpeting, flooring, or vinyl flooring. That's.
All right, here we go, if you will, all right?
Thank you.
This is,
Blah, 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 blah. 7.2C, right?
it's Article 6, no, it's probably Article 7. Article 7, paragraph 7.2C, paragraph 1, 2, 3. Page 9 in the documents. As the date of adoption of this amended and restated declaration, which was January 1st, 2011, the existing floor coverings in the upper units may not be changed to any other material other than carpeting, linoleum, or vinyl over padding. Okay? Carpet, linoleum, or vinyl over padding. With specific written board approval, a hard surface material such as tile or wood may be installed over underlayment in hallways, kitchen, bathrooms, and porches. The required underlayment shall meet the minimum standard of 11C or STC 70.
This is not a hardwood.
Yeah, or such other sound-absorbing materials as may be performed. Any material installed in violation of this paragraph must be removed at owner's expense. So, you know, if you read this as we just did, it's saying they could have it as long as their materials reach that standard. Now, the materials used in the test does reach those standards because they have an STC of 72. It doesn't say that the room, the noise between the two has to be 72. It says the material has to be 72. So that may be a legal issue, and I'm not trying to.
No.
I'm not trying to interpret it. Hello, Richard. So, John.
I believe that probably is talking about the results of using that material in the place that you're measuring.
That could be the other interpretation.
There is another part in that same section of our rules and regulations, and that is the section C also. And it says that the required underlay shall meet this standard, etc., only if the materials provide comparable or better performance. And we have already shown that there is no better performance. We haven't even found comparable performance. Now, if you look at some of the information that we have in our handout, up to including what the floor looks like underneath from this termite situation, you can see that there is no way that we'll ever meet the standards of 6 inches of cement or any of the other comments in regards to the amount of space in between the floor covering, or I should say where the cement starts, etc.
Cement.
Last but not least,
That's an upper ceiling, John.
bottom line is that's what the other ceilings are gonna look like too. They don't change.
No,
They're the
they're
same
not like
thing.
that. They don't have the metal up there, they don't have a lot of that.
Well, it's my contention, it really doesn't, it's a moot point, whether or
Yeah,
not they
okay.
meet it or not. The bottom line is that this is something that we as under or lower unit people thought was to have no more noise than what we would receive the day we bought that thing forever and ever. There is no structural requirement for the upper unit to be done. It's purely a decorative type of thing. So in essence, I, as a lower unit person, am not receiving what I paid for, and my benefits and or the cost of my unit, or I should say the selling price of my unit, has been affected in a negative manner without compensation.
Can I say something?
No, it's the board issues now. We'll open it up to the public after the board gets a chance, Richard, okay? Other board members wish to speak?
I think we need to change the documents. I think Steve is absolutely correct.
Do you want to withdraw your motion and?
I do withdraw my motion
Okay.
For what reason?
to make another one now, but I'm not gonna make it.
Well, she's saying no, and now she's considering saying, let's go to an attorney and get a set of documents that work in today's world, whether it's, that will allow, I don't know what, I know what you don't want.
I'm just agreeing with
Well, then
what
I'll make a
Steve
motion.
sent you in his
Wait a minute, there's already a motion on the floor.
Okay, I'm sorry. no, we-
And there is a motion on the floor, and it's quite succinct, and you might want to deal with it before you go on.
Good.
But anybody want to address that particular motion? Barbara?
I just want to add that, I mean, if you go to any, probably most rental units, they're only allow carpeting above the first floor, in upstairs units. So.
What was that? I didn't hear you.
Carpeting.
What about it?
Most rental units require carpeting in upstairs units.
Well, if they have technology,
If they
they
don't-
have technology that will be just as good as
We don't
that.
have discussions.
No, we'll have discussion in a minute. You'll have plenty of time to talk, Richard.
One at a
Yeah,
time,
once, no.
and I can't hear Barbara.
Thank you.
All right, Barbara said basically, if you didn't hear her, she said that the apartment buildings do not allow hard surface above the first floor.
Coming from New York, and maybe the standards
It's
of
not a
what's,
hard surface.
standards of what's between the floors is different. They require carpet only, so just throw that out there. And being that we have something different that we can't accommodate based on testing, we need to be looking at carpet only as well.
Well, in New York, we.
All right, wait, do we have a hand up, Richard, or then Claire?
Go ahead, Claire.
Well, my question is, if we're going to change the documents, how can we make the change if the space that we're talking about is not the standard that they measure things by? So how do we know should it be STC 72 or STC 3?
I would envision the fact that the board would say yay or nay to hard surface, and have the attorney write a document that says no hard surface whatsoever except in those rooms. Or yes, carpeting, and this is allowed with certain restrictions. I mean,
Okay, is this flooring considered a hard surface? It's
Yes.
not tile, it's not wood.
yeah, but laminate is considered hard surface.
This isn't laminate. Lucky, this is
Well,
this
this
is
isn't on
vinyl.
the board either.
Yeah, vinyl.
Well, vinyl's considered hard.
Vinyl is soft.
Up. I wouldn't wanna have somebody hit me over the head with it. Would you?
It's got padding under it, and then you
I know.
have all types of things, technology, it's come a long way.
You have no idea what my feelings are, Richard,
Yeah.
okay? So,
I know you're in my house.
no, I'm not, don't
I
say
know, you
that.
don't wanna say that.
Say that.
But it's ridiculous how many months this is taking. Where we can get
Well, we're gonna let
scientific
you
proof.
talk, we're gonna let you talk.
Let us run the meeting, would you please?
Please, all right, Dick.
I wanna know where we at on what you withdrew your,
Well, if I have to withdraw it in order to recommend that we follow Roger's recommendation
right,
to change the documents, then I so withdraw.
okay, so if that's withdrawn, then you're ready for another motion.
Are you are formally withdrawing?
In order to, well, if,
I'd like to call for a vote.
All right, if she hasn't withdrawn, call for a vote, stops everything,
Yeah. Because we've got
but she can still withdraw.
You're asking for a vote on whether we're.
yes, no, as far as I'm concerned.
Right, are we gonna have room for conversation on
But
that?
if-
Absolutely,
but-
absolutely.
but if it
I
turns
think
out
that- I
as a
think
yes,
if we go
it
to, I think
doesn't
if we
go
go
with
to a
the
vote
documents.
at this point, we are putting association in jeopardy based on what our president has recommended and offered. I don't see how we can vote yes for carpeting or yes for vinyl without getting advice from an attorney. At this point, we are too convoluted as far as the group is concerned, that we need to really have clarification from the attorney what we can do. If the attorney says yes, you can put carpeting in, then we can vote on carpeting. If it says yes, you can put, then we can vote. But if we vote on that now, I think we're putting ourselves in jeopardy.
And that's, so
Yes,
I
question.
therefore,
What is
Put 'em up,
Richard's,
one at a time.
what is Richard's suggestion?
Richard.
I'm Richard.
Roger.
This is Richard over
I
here.
mean Roger, you mean
It's
Roger?
Steve's
Senior
suggestion.
moment.
Steve said that Steve's saying that we should,
What are the
that if you-
alternatives?
Steve is saying if we pass it, we're in violation of the documents.
Okay,
If we don't pass it, we might be in violation of the documents, because it does say, it does say, upper units may not be changed to any other material other than carpeting, linoleum, or vinyl over padding.
So,
So it
So we're talking
it
about
looks to
vinyl
me
over
like the
padding.
Yeah, I
documents
know.
currently say
why don't we even talk about it?
it's all allowed with certain specifications. And the specifications John has brought up is that said it's only materials are comparable or better in performance. So in other words, he's saying that that you could read the documents to say that any other material other than carpeting would have to be equal to carpeting. If that makes sense.
You just listed vinyl. and
Excuse me,
proof.
Richard.
You can't get
Call
away
the
with
sergeant
No,
at
you
arms.
can't.
You're not here.
Based upon Roger's recommendation, I withdraw my motion that is currently on the floor.
Okay.
Which was,
Now, somebody, John, you
No,
can make a motion to call the question anyway if you want.
I still feel that we should call the question. Bottom line is whether or not it meets it or not, I am not receiving what I paid for, and I paid for what we have today, not a modification of the above, which is guaranteed to make my area of that building less than it was what I paid for.
Price has got nothing to do with your unit.
Yes, it
First of
does.
it does not. First of all, your unit has to be sold for the price that it is going for in the area. They don't pick out a number. It has to be what everyone else is going for.
No, wait a minute.
You're
When my unit was purchased with the rights to the silence above my head,
we all bought
was
that.
this. Nothing has changed.
We
as
all
far-
bought that.
All right.
Exactly. Why should I change it to let somebody
I gotta-
above
I
me change
with-
my unit?
Yeah, everybody else can vote, right?
You're not in the board.
Oh, these are all board meetings?
Yeah. All board
Well,
members.
where are the people that are contesting? Where
Well,
are they?
apparently you're one of them,
Yeah, you're one of them, yeah.
but that's, you'll come.
Oh, because I got a lot of good points, you know, things have changed in 20 years.
Richard,
Excuse me.
please.
They
All
haven't
right,
for
I'll be
me.
quiet until I can talk.
Thank you, Richard. Because we'll let you go.
Let's have a little bit of order here, and we don't need to argue. We all know we each have our own opinion. Pam has withdrawn her motion.
Yes.
The recommendation is to get a motion on the floor to have the attorney draft documents that will meet the current not the current technology, but what we have available. The comment that Steve made is that our documents are incorrect no matter which way we want to go, and we need to fix them to state exactly what we can accomplish or what we can achieve with any kind of floor.
Well, I take one step further, Roger. I think you gotta tell the attorney what you want.
That's true, and somehow we need to get a measurement of what we can reach. If we can't reach 72, can we reach 50? Can we reach 60?
I would think that they probably would take the numbers out since they can't qualify no matter what.
$35,000. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
I would think they would have
No
to
motion
make
on the
a,
floor, so let's
they'd have
try to
to
get
make
one.
a ruling on whether or not the lower unit is being, his value of his unit is not being determined by the change on the above.
We should have a motion on the floor.
Yes. What is the motion?
To send it to the attorney for
All right, I move that we present to the attorney what we would like to accomplish in our documents, perhaps leaving the numbers out, and see where we're at. If we don't, and this is not part of the motion, but if we can't reach a number, what good is it?
Numbers may not be pertinent anymore
Well, let's
because
find
we
out.
can't measure. We don't have $35,000 of a
Right,
quote
yeah.
to
Right.
measure the sound. So, I mean,
Claire, could you repeat what the motion was?
yeah.
No? No. Well, bummer.
Yes.
I've got so far,
I
present
move that
to
we-
attorney what?
We speak with the attorney and have him draw up a document that would accomplish what we need to accomplish.
And what
With
the
this
word
flooring.
is, what do we want to accomplish?
Well, we want to,
No, I mean, that's
I
hard,
don't
you
know.
know, that's hard.
We wanna-
I'm not
I don't
challenging
know.
you, you
It
know.
would seem to me
Okay,
what we want to accomplish is, does the board have the legal authority to make a decision for carpets only or vinyl allowed on the second floor?
good going, Dick.
Good going.
That's we need to clear, and if the attorney says you can, then we're gonna have to debate among ourselves on which way we wanna go. Right now, if it would matter what we do, it could be illegal.
That answer could be gotten quickly and be a lot cheaper than having an open-ended thing where they could write.
And I believe the answer to that question might answer my question too, and that is, am I giving up value in my unit by allowing a change on the floor above me?
Who is that?
So I agree with you, Dick.
So I guess, Roger, you would ask for a tablement to ask the specific question to the attorney for a comeback answer for the next meeting or a special meeting if you want to have it. It's
Yeah.
up to you.
I would like to see this done as quickly as possible.
Oh, amen.
This is ridiculous, it's been going on for months.
Well, you
Let's
can
put it
have,
to bed.
you can have a special meeting once we get the.
Well, then let's have a
Let's do
special
it.
meeting.
Okay,
even if
so
it has to
as
be
I
on the
understand it, there's a motion to, go ahead again, Dick, you're very articulate.
Well, this is what I've got. I've got something.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Claire's motion was to present to our attorney what we need to accomplish a decision of carpeting or hard flooring allowed in upstairs units.
Under the current documents.
Excuse me,
Under-
not hard
under the
floor and
co-
vinyl.
Oh,
Yeah.
We don't get to do that.
Yeah, vinyl's in the document, so he's gonna rule on it.
Yeah.
It's in there, Richard.
I don't know how many months I've been living like this.
I thought Dick started out by saying, does the board have the authority to mandate carpet only? I thought that was the
I believe
motion.
that's correct. I
Or
don't
vinyl.
believe it's for this or those other things.
To mandate any flooring.
It's for the attorney.
Okay, so far we don't have a second on Claire's motion.
Wait a minute, but apparently they would wanna modify it anyway.
I know.
Okay.
So what I'm
No
saying is.
second on Claire, yeah.
So what I'm saying is I could tear this one up.
Not yet, not yet. You may need somebody's word.
I got words. They're up here. Dick, do me a favor and repeat that, please, and you're making this motion.
You wanna make, you want an attorney's
No, I
opinion?
just wanna start at the beginning, cause she gave the beginning, I'm trying to think what she said.
Cut it down to
I make a
attorney's
motion, I
opinion,
would
yeah.
make a motion that we refer,
The question,
Request an attorney's opinion.
refer the question,
to the attorney for an opinion of whether the board has the right to make a decision on what you, a decision.
On what may be installed on upstairs
What might be
flooring.
installed in upstairs units.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Without liability to the lower unit.
I don't think that can be in a.
Well,
I
then
don't-
the lower
I will not
units
put that in
all-
the motion.
That is
We can
a
have
lower
that
unit,
I will
discussion
not
later
put that
on.
in the motion.
right?
I'll
That's-
second.
All right,
Wait a
Barbara,
minute, wait a
quick.
minute.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you.
Refer the question to our attorney. Board has the right to, who is that? To, attorney, if the board has the right to
Mandate
mandate, okay.
what type of flooring.
What type
someone
of flooring, yeah, goes in the upstairs unit.
Is there a second to that motion?
Yes, Barbara carried, Roger.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion on that motion? If not, is already.
Wait a minute,
From
since
the
it's,
board.
if it's gonna go
Is there-
vote, we can have the owner speak for a minute before you
Yeah.
vote.
Okay,
Richard, your turn.
I just have a I have a question, John.
Okay, who dat?
John?
This is,
Bill Chauvin?
go
Okay.
ahead.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just have a question. You know, as you look around at places being sold around here and what their prices are, you see pictures, and you notice a couple second floor pictures, the whole second floor is laminate flooring.
Yep.
How did they get away with that? And it looks brand new. It doesn't look like something that was done 15 years
snuck it
ago,
in.
or...
This type of flooring was approved as late as 2 years ago because of the laminate statement in the documents. So it has been approved. It also, before the document changed in 11, it was Katie bar to the door. Anybody did most what they wanted.
Why are we changing it
So
now?
you- there you go.
Who's asking that?
I think it was from Frank's iPad.
No,
So,
chimed in, no, it wasn't.
No, they need to identify themselves.
Yeah, if you're gonna speak, please identify yourself. So yes, there are units out there that have had this flooring in for quite a period of time, and some is less than 2 or 3 years.
okay. So, we're trying to change that now.
Well, you have requests to do a certain type of installation versus carpeting, and that's what's on the table. Whether that can be allowed specifically or not.
Right, I was privy to that conversation. I mean, I understand what you guys are talking about. I'm just a little confused as to where this is all headed as far as changing our existing structure.
Well, there would be.
And I understand the first floor complaints. I understand that, but is this something that's going to be just up to the vote of the board, or how's this going to proceed?
It's really gonna depend on what the attorney says is what the variances the board would be allowed to do. Okay?
Okay.
Our current documents state X. He will look at those and he will give a review as to, in his opinion, what can and cannot be installed as the documents are read. If that does not satisfy the board, then they would propose a change in the documents that the owners would vote on.
Okay, understood. That's all
Roger.
I wanted to know.
All right.
Roger, Tina Gillen has her hand up.
okay.
Wait a minute, Richard Moran has had his hand up first, please. Not cutting you off, Tina. Richard, you got 2 seconds.
Well, well, you know, when these rules were put in place, that was 20 years ago. Flooring's come a long way. And in fact, you can get the number like to, you know, 72, 73, even higher, because it comes, you have to buy like the extra sheathing of plastic that's just been made for that. And these big giant firms like Home Decor, nationwide companies, they're not going to be selling something that people are going to be complaining about. That's why they put all the pads, either cork or foam rubber, on the back of all of them. You add the plastic to it. And there's many houses, John, in the last year or two, I've seen a couple of floors gone in. No, I guess they didn't call. And I didn't know about this committee. I've been living my living room and you know, my bedroom, well, not my bed, but the living room and dining room especially, is down to cement, because I didn't know I had to do the popcorn ceilings first and paint.
Yeah.
Did that, was ready to do the floors, and I found out there's this committee. I said, oh, well, we're gonna make it so it's really good. It's not gonna be that you're gonna hear it. 20 years ago is a big difference from now. I've been living there 20 years, and there's a lot of people I've known that have been friends that have died or moved on, and you know, but there's still people here a lot longer than me. And, you know, so when you had that done early on, I mean, the technology is a beautiful thing, because, look at my brothers and sisters, they all have second homes on the East Coast. And these places are 11 and 12 stories high. And they put in, you know, they make sure it's done right, though, by real good professionals. And there's no problem with that. You don't hear anything. I have two sisters and a brother who have homes there. Or was it 4? 1, 2, 3. And
you're not sure your brothers and sisters?
yeah, well, I got a lot of them. You know, I got a lot of them. You know, they all come down to visit. You know, but 3 of them, you know, 3 couples have a second home in right next to Boca Raton. Is it Delta? What is it called? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But you know, and they're done the proper way, and there's no problem with it. And look at all the people that have it already, that have done it over the years, and didn't have a committee like this then. And everybody just did it and made sure. You know, there was that time, I think before you were even here, John, when the one person was suing the other 10 years ago because they didn't put sound suppressant down. But there's really been little to no problems from people who have done it in the last few years the right way. And these are construction people that, you know, a couple of them who flip houses and flip condos here. And it's not right, you know, because of he's talking about losing value. I'll lose value on my home. You know, people don't want the rugs as much as they used to. Especially if you're older and you got allergies like me, because it's like the dust, when every time you walk across it, I don't care how good you clean it, you know, it gets in the air you breathe.
Ms. Huff, 1 minute.
Again, is that the 4-inch concrete or the 6-inch concrete
These buildings you're referring to.
that you're referring to? We have the 4-inch concrete.
We have the 4-inch, and you guys just did all your tests. I've listened to all of that, and it's not meeting standard.
So,
It's not meeting standard at this point.
yeah, and we
I've
don't wanna hear it.
been in other units. One is, everybody probably know who Rocky is. I've been in his unit, and there's people above him. I wouldn't want to live there, because whatever they have up above is noisy.
And
I don't
hear
know
it.
what it is, but you can hear a lot from his place. And I know he complains a lot, but it's.
But how long ago was that floor put in?
I don't know.
Today's technology,
Don't know.
Okay, but
compared to
Again,
20
4-inch
years ago.
concrete or 6-inch
But
concrete?
they just did the tests with what they said they could make like carpet, and it's not.
They did put in the new stuff.
And it's
Tina.
not like what they said it was.
All right, Tina, you're up.
Thank you, John. I just want to pipe in and reiterating what a man just said recently about all of the pictures that we see on Realtor.com or whatever. These newer looking units there, it looks like the whole thing has been revamped, including flooring all throughout, painting, new lighting, and I think that has probably been within this past 11 years, since 2011. And I just feel like they have probably done that without, you know, the program, the permissions and so forth, the way they look. They are brand spanking new.
Okay, thank you.
And I just wonder if they had gotten the permission to put those floors down.
Well, those who have would have something in the, at least since I've been here, those who have something in the documents or supposed to have.
Or in their
Claire?
file.
In their file, I'm in their file, I'm sorry.
I don't know if this is
Yep.
the
I had a couple of other things.
Oh, go ahead, I'm
mention,
sorry.
And then
Yeah.
I'll,
No,
and then
go
I'll
ahead.
leave.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that I believe that the up and downstairs units, when you buy into it, no matter what, that you do expect a reasonable amount of noise. I do hear conversation with my neighbors. I do hear their pocket doors or other doors open and closing. It does not bother me because I'm a reasonable person. I am not going to get upset about such a thing. And I think that that is the neighborly thing to do, is to just get along. We expect that when we live so tightly in these units. I'm sure that people that live side by side even hear a certain amount of noise with their neighbors. And one other thing is, I just want to say that with the real estate the way it is today, the beautification of these homestays that are coming up with the hard floors, with the lighting and everything, hard floors are the thing to do now. Carpeting is such a thing of the past, and I think if these units are to hold their value in the future with real estate, that they need to be presentable. They need to look updated and modern in order to keep the sales going in there.
Thank you.
And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina.
Claire?
I don't know if this is the proper time to bring it up, but if the attorney comes back and says, no vinyl, linoleum, whatever, only carpet, what are we gonna do about all the people that have that flooring in the second floor? I would propose that we find out every single one of them, and if they don't have an approval in the file, make them tear it out and put in carpeting.
I think this is
Well, that's
something we
future.
should deal with in a later meeting and in a later process, because it's, right now it hasn't got anything to do with the situation. When you moved into our location here, you saw the rules and the regulations. You knew exactly what was there. You talked to John in the interview when you came here 20 years ago.
John wasn't here 20 years ago.
Well, nothing has changed at all since the day you bought the place, except your need to
And I
change
had
your-
carpets, and I still have carpets,
I
but I want,
understand, but-
they have material that will.
Point is it
The
can't
point
be
is you're
done.
wrong.
It was not, it was in the rules that it could not be put in, period. And you wanna change those rules to something else. Period. You
I'm
knew
not
that
the
from
only
the
one,
top.
those rules were made 30 years ago.
Doesn't matter. They
Yes.
still were in place when you bought the place and when I bought it. So therefore, nothing's changed. We don't want to change because it takes the value away from the lower unit. We already hear this from this
Well,
gentleman.
you just heard about how it takes away from the top unit too.
Fine, pay me money and I'll let you put it in there, my friend, but you're not gonna take away my value to make yours better.
Like the lady,
Scott, go
whoever was,
ahead,
whoever
Scott.
was on the phone there, how she was saying it takes away from the value of the upstairs because they're not able to put that in. But what does that do to the people downstairs also? It's the same flip, it really is. Now, we have two retired people above us, Larry and his wife. They're very quiet. We hear their sliders open. I would expect that. We hear them slide a window open. If they drop something in the kitchen, we expect it. But they're quiet people. We have neighbors a few doors over that have children and grandchildren that live upstairs. I can't imagine living below them with tile floor or wood floor and having a dog.
Or laminate floor.
Or laminate floor and them playing like children are going to, or renters. Renters don't care. We've already discovered that in here. They don't care anything about the people around them. Because the people that come in seasonally that rent, they could care less. It's like a free-for-all. And it's not fair to everybody else.
I
Yeah,
can
that's
see some
vacation
floors
club.
like laminate are allowed and think like vinyl and linoleum is soft and quieter. And if you have a suppressant under it, it can be just as good as a carpet.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Well, what we have here, there's gonna be no finite decision made, it's going to be referred
I know, I've
to the
been
attorney.
living in the
That is
basement for
call-
5
that we should
months.
call the question.
Yeah, that's a call question.
All right, Roger, Rick Picola has called the question to send it to the attorney for an opinion. I'll read it for you again.
Hurry.
Yeah. Refer the question to our attorney to determine if the board has the right to mandate the type of flooring in upstairs units.
Very
Okay,
good.
That's the
That's the
motion.
motion.
I'll call the roll in her absence.
Thank you.
Cookie?
I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
You're not including any numbers in that?
No.
Okay.
All right, no, we're just going, he's gonna
Okay.
read it, what it is, and he can say what it is. And
Yeah.
you can say, okay, we'll live with it, okay, we don't want it, we wanna modify it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Cookie?
Yes.
Okay. Roger?
Yes.
Pam? Okay, bathroom stop. Shannon?
Yes.
Steve's not here. Richard Gricola?
Yes.
Denny Palmer?
Yes.
George Fisher?
Yes.
Monica Heigl?
Yes.
Claire Dewhurst?
Yes.
Tammy Alborn?
Yes.
Tiffany Conklin?
Yes.
Barbara Carey?
Yes.
No, Debbie Harder, and John West.
Yes.
Okay, it passes unanimously.
So we
Okay.
referred it to our lawyer.
Yes, gone to the attorney.
Going to the attorney, and that'll close that for today. So the next thing we want to talk about is the termite issue, John, at 559. You sent us pictures which don't look very pretty.
Now, what the story is that 559 has, they were originally through inspection found drywood termites and localized treatment that was unable to cure the issue. And tenting of the building was close to $24,000 because it's a double building the way it's constructed. And several owners in the building also pleaded relief not to have to vacate their unit because of illness and inability to be mobile. So we come up with a secondary idea which the termite company agreed with. If we took out all the ceiling structure where there was any thoughts of termite activity at all, we could see directly into where the termites were active and make the treatment there, which would be much more, even more positive than a tent, because the tent doesn't even guarantee that they die. Anyway, in taking off the ceilings, we found extensive damage to the support systems, and you've only got one or two pictures. I've got about 20. That means that we haven't found any active, but that doesn't mean there won't be as they do some work. But it took it out of the realm of treatment and closure back to the fact that we have to find a GC and an engineer, because several of the beams are going to have to be removed, and so the status of that situation now, and the owner understands it, is we're waiting for the GC that we talked to bring an engineer in to give us an idea what costs would be associated with his determination of what must be removed, along with the cost of reconstruction. So we're kind of in a mini holding pattern. We don't want to be, but we found extensive damage. And one of the rafters or beams is actually down about an inch and not doing any support. And that could have been, excuse me, it could have been, if we didn't open this thing up like this, a real disaster. Could have had a roof collapse.
So these termites are active?
No, we can't find anything active, but they already did their deed.
Yeah, they are. Okay.
So we killed most of them when they were doing that treatment, but not in time.
Is it blocked from that unit only, or does it?
No, we were opening, well, now we still have to open up what's called the lanai closet, because these beams go to that on both sides.
How about the units on either side?
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. So we haven't opened it up yet, but we've got the people to agree that we can open it up to see what its other damages involved.
This is years and years of damage.
I don't know that, I mean, you know.
Was there a termite inspection, or before, I don't know how long they've owned this unit. but
They haven't owned it very long.
I would think that they might have recourse on
Do
this
you have
one.
any insurance
Who?
on this?
Who?
Us, the association.
No.
Would it be part of homeowners at all, John, or not?
Pardon?
Would it be part of their homeowners at all, or not?
No. No, because it's not what they own. They own the inside. We own the roof as an association, you know.
Can I see the pictures?
Yeah, they're quite,
Very.
yeah.
Holy cow.
So, it's an ongoing situation that we're trying to resolve as quickly as possible because meanwhile, she's got all of her furniture out in a pod and she's not living in the unit. So, you know, we got a lot of issues going here.
Is this termite pictures, is this all of the beams, or is it just a select few?
Well, a select few. I mean, I've got many more pictures, but how many did we want to put in the
Oh,
report?
no. I mean, you see one that has a complete knot in it, you have one that's completely riddled.
Right.
Then it looks like this one might be a good one. I mean, is it only in the lanai that we're finding this, or?
No, this is going right across the living room. But the, if I say this, from the layman's eye, like I might be,
Right.
there's probably 8 or 9 beams that have to be released. But because of the engineering and because of that, we couldn't get a building permit unless the engineer certified it.
Exactly.
How many other units do you think are affected like this? I mean, if this one
Well, this one was showing evidence of termite sporings or whatever they call. Little things were coming down. Like, you might think that if this was a solid piece of material up there, little holes develop. And that you have droppings of not wood, but
like poppy seeds.
Yeah.
Looks like sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So do we need to do inspections now in all of the?
No, we don't have indications of anything activity like that. She had at least 40 spots where little droppings were coming down.
So, John, do we have any idea whether that is spreading to other units?
We're gonna look to the extent until we open the other 2, which we're gonna do, we don't know.
But it could be more than
So there's
that.
one on either side.
There's one on either side, and we have to open up their lanai closets to see where these beams go in that particular issue, but
Is most of the damage, does it start in the lanai and come in? Is that what?
no, I mean, we don't know. I mean, it seems like the majority of the damage is in the localized living room, dining room, and we haven't opened the kitchen yet, but now that they're that way, we have to open the kitchen too.
Is that an upstairs unit?
That's an upstairs
It's-
unit.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah. So, it's more of a report than any action we need to take, other than we're moving this post haste on it.
Any costs will be incurred through some of our reserves, or don't we have any idea?
You know, we had a reserve, and but the committee took it out for whatever reason, $50,000 a year for these types of surprises. So the answer is, we don't have a reserve specifically. The board would be within its right to take monies from another part of the reserve, because we have pooled reserves to do this, or because we're running for $12,000 to $13,000 surplus in the building repair department, we may not need to have to.
Thank you, John, for the update on that. It's an unfortunate situation. You want to address the mitigation study that we need to approve the contract for?
Yep, y'all have a copy of the proposal from Don Mailer. The state requires 2 things to be done every 3 years. One is the building valuation for insurance purposes to ensure that you insure the value, which we did earlier in the year. And it raised it from 78 million to 92 million, and that's one of the reasons we got the very healthy increase in the premiums, because not only did the premiums go up, the values went up. So the secondary one is the wind mitigation, and that is to allow insurance companies to understand what type of roof they're insuring. The good news is that we have no changes since the last one. And so we shouldn't have any issues as far as them telling us to do something. The bad news is, best quote's $4,100 if you can find the people to do it. These are the same outfit that did it last time, and they're one of the few in the state that are doing it, so I recommend we go with them.
Move to approve.
Question, are we gonna be pulling that out of a general fund?
No, we can, we'll take it out of the insurance fund,
Okay.
which we have a little bit of room with.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, we need a second.
I second.
Claire Dewhurst.
Thank you. Discussion? No discussion. All right, let's vote on this. Is there anybody opposed? And it unanimously passes. John, you can move forward.
C.
Next item on the agenda, palm tree trimming.
Please.
Street service.
We need to have some discussion about the palm trees.
The landscape committee proposed, historically they've been trimmed 10 to 2, which is more of a this shape, for the health of the tree and for whatever other reasons that are beneficial to the tree. Is proposed by the landscape committee that we go what they call 9 to 3, which is more of a flat cut. And the board received that information last time and wanted to, I guess, digest it before they approved it. They did ask me to go out and get pricing for tree trimming, or palm tree trimming, and I did include that in the manager's report. But basically it was Leilani wanted $30 a tree, Monster Tree wanted $40, and Terry's Tree, who was really the only one beside Brown that came out and walked the property, wanted $70 a tree. Almost blew me away. But anyway, John Brown, who's been doing our trees ever since, certainly I've been here, before I've been here, is at $21.50 a tree, so that kind of goes without saying as to who we should allow it to. It's just a matter of fact that they get a direction to what everybody feels should be done.
Is there a quote? The quote's on you.
They had phone quote.
Phone quote?
Yeah, the two of them were phone quotes.
Oh, so Brown's was a phone call?
Yeah.
John?
Yep.
So I believe we need a motion on the floor so we can discuss this.
Discussion afterwards or before?
Yeah, after.
Okay.
I so move.
Second. Brown, yeah, okay.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Aye.
Okay.
Claire Dewhurst.
Questions?
Yeah,
The question, I saw a very interesting and learned email come from Chris in regards to his cluster and his trees and so on. Do we need to do a walkthrough and see if we need to have all these trees cut, or if we can have some areas that we can bypass? And I ask you as a pro, John, I don't know. Did you see the email from Chris this morning?
I did, I did. And Chris made a motion that was seconded on the landscape committee not to trim trees this year, and the committee said no.
Okay.
So, but that doesn't mean what he said isn't partially right, okay? Not that he said anything was wrong, but yes, there would seem to be some cabbage palms, or whatever you want to call them. I call them cabbage palm, palmetto palms, that seem to be above the 9 to 3 level, and it's going to be my job to look at the 1,700 trees and figure out which we don't do, which I will do before we do it.
I'm trying to find some place that maybe we can find a nickel or two to save.
Well, that's it. I mean, at $21.50 a tree, we've been paying somewhere around $27,000. So anything we can save, obviously, that's my job for you, is to save you that.
Well, I look to you, and you're the one I trust on, so.
Barbara.
John, I don't know why you would need to go around and look at every tree. From what I got from Chris's email is, it's very obvious. If the trees are already at 9 and 3, then nothing needs to be done to it.
Yeah, but I gotta make that determination, because Steve and I have driven around, and Pete and I have driven around, quite frankly, and their two opinions differ a lot from what the board's direction is. So it's gonna be whose opinion, not of whose opinion. Pete Barron doesn't like it at all, but that's him, and he's just the landscape chair, but he was outvoted, okay? Steve believes the trees that are 9 to 3 currently will be hanging down in 6 months and will be causing aesthetic issues in the community, and our community is we get called for palm tree trimming, as I said the other day, all the time. About this palm tree this tree is hanging down at an angle or what have you. So this is not an issue that's you know, that everybody's on the same page for, if you will. But, so, when I say go around, I would hope that it would be a positive thing to save us money on those trees that won't be 9 to 3 in 2 months or something, below 9 to 3. That's where I'm coming from.
Okay.
I'm coming from what you all want.
Good.
Okay.
Tammy?
Brown has done well in the past with our tree trimming, whether it be the 9 and 3 or the 10 and 2. They've done an excellent job. We do want them to pull out the seed pods because that is what is filthy. That's what damages our sidewalks, that's what ruins our roofs, that's what does all the damage. So they will be doing that according to each palm. Some of the palm trees that Chris was talking about, I believe, is back by the pools, are pool 5, and we haven't trimmed those in years. I mean, so.
Yeah, we will not trim,
We
we're
don't
not gonna
trim
add
those
to our
back
inventory that we
Right,
treat.
right.
And we try to keep them off the roof, we try to keep them away from things that will drop down. And, you know, it's other than Monster, Terry's, Leilani, and Brown said, why are you doing this? Because I was trying to get a reduced price, cutting less. And they said by the time that they do the bottoms and have to dig in to get the pods and everything else out, it costs them more time per tree. So, you know.
We look to you for guidance, John, go for it.
Is this done for insurance purpose also?
Oh, we do it because we do it right before the hurricane season kicks in to try to make sure any loose fronds don't fly. Yes, sir.
What is your opinion, John?
We'll find out. I'm your administrator, I'm not your.
Administrator means the doer,
Yeah, yeah.
so therefore.
Go ahead, sir.
Chris would like to say something.
Go ahead.
Well, I think that that people like Brown are in the business of trimming trees. So the fact that he doesn't think we should be doing what we're doing by not trimming as much is kind of a business decision on his part. So it's a little hard to trust that. I find it much more reliable to take a look at what the University of Florida says and what all the articles that we sent out on not trimming palm trees very much at all, because it doesn't help the tree. And so I think that, I guess, again, I totally agree that the big tall palms, the royals, the queens, even the pineapples, they need to be trimmed. In fact, I wouldn't be too against having them trimmed twice a year, because they're the ones that have the fronds that really could come down and injure somebody. And they have the big seed pods. But the palmettos, the sable palmettos, don't have any of that. And they don't have heavy fronds, they don't have big seed pods, and they are by far the majority of the palms that we have in this community. And so the idea that they have to be trimmed, I think is one that's, it's just not, the people that are the experts in palm trees don't agree with that.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Well, yeah, the point, I mean, I think the board right now has agreed with you, Chris, that the 9 to 3, and if there's anything above it, they won't touch. No question about it. I don't think they've gone to the fact of no sable palms, because some of them are leaning down, but we certainly could save money, and that's why I intend to go and try to make an inventory of as close as possible of what they can skip. Last time I marked trees for easy access, I put a little orange dot of paint on it, and everybody freaked out. Why why you got this stupid orange blotch on my tree, you know? So, I mean, it's gonna be hard to designate, you know?
Tie a yellow ribbon.
As long as it's orange, that's
690 times, that ought to be real interesting to do.
So as long as it's orange, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, we did have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Could somebody reread the motion?
I didn't write it down.
Basically, the motion is, the only thing we're doing here today, because we've agreed to do it in the prior meeting of 9 to 3, minimally, is to accept Brown's proposal of $21.50 a tree.
So moved.
Okay, so the motion is to go with the 9 to 3 trim with Brown being the vendor.
Yes, and that's written, that is moved by Mr. Picola.
I second.
And seconded by Claire?
Second by Claire.
Okay. Is there any more discussion? You need a roll call vote, or is there anybody that's opposed?
Doesn't seem to be.
Okay, doesn't seem to be anybody opposed, so that passes.
All right.
Thank you.
And we'll be as cautious as possible in what we're trimming, okay?
Cool.
And so we'll all supply John with some yellow ribbons. Okay, I guess we're on to new business. John, do you have any communications?
None since the last meeting, sir.
Okay, so then the next item up is the wall issue at 269 Sherwood.
269 Sherwood, yes, and they've been quite good about waiting. We noticed the wall, one of the courtyard walls behind Unit 269 Sherwood Drive has heaved or moved almost 3 inches to the side and is becoming a little bit like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
It's been up for
And
hundreds of years.
the reason was there was a tree planted by a former owner that the root system pushed this wall out. The new owner went in and spent about $800 having the tree removed so it would not cause any issues, including the removal of the tree and the root system. So and it was first thought we might be able to somehow push the wall back up and put shims in it, but 2 contractors have come out, actually 3, and said not going to happen. So we've got bids, and it just blew my mind. The first bid was $26,000, but he said since blocks are so hard to get, he would be using styrofoam blocks with fill cells, and he was going to build us the Taj Mahal at $26,000 for a bid for one length of 40-foot wall. The second bidder was one who does all of our sidewalk work, and he came in at $10,000, again citing block issues. The third one is the gentleman who rebuilt the wall at 169 when we had that tree issue and did a heck of a good job. He built the whole, actually about 2 walls and brought them together. He built 2 sections of wall, not the entire walls, and brought them together and did the foundation. And he said that it's just such a pain, he'd rather not do it, but he would do it for $4,000 if we did it. So he went off in the sunset, and we got these other bids, and I called him back, and I pleaded with him. I said, hey, we're getting these crazy prices. You said you want to work with us for walls and things like that. And he said, okay. He said, I'll come back and pour the footing and put the new wall up. It'll take me maybe 3 months or 2 months to get blocked, because as a small vendor, everything's taken in advance. So I have to go buy a little block at a time where I can find it. But you take down the wall, and I'll put it up for $4,000. We've checked with our people. We can take it down, probably start next week, and we can do it for $4,000. That's my recommendation.
Awesome. And they saved the material?
The block there?
With the block
it all
that they got
depends.
demolished.
We're gonna pull it down. It'll probably fall apart when we do it because it's all stuccoed together. So
But you can save
there won't
some of
be
those
much
blocks,
save
though,
of them
right?
up. Yeah, we won't get too many blocks out of it.
And that's stucco too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's gonna stuff it. Yeah, he did a heck of a job on the other
He
one.
did, you should see it.
Yeah. So that's my recommendation, to do it for $4,000 with Dave Gabbard.
It's good.
I make a motion that we approve the proposed bid and go with this vendor.
I'll second.
Cookie Finch, John West, Cookie Finch. They
Okay,
agreed on
moved and
something.
seconded. Any further discussion?
We're
about
getting
that,
there.
Laura?
I have one
Okay.
question.
Monica has a question.
One
Didn't you
question, go
say
ahead.
it would take him 3 months?
Yeah, I misspoke. It'll take him, he said, probably up to 6 weeks to accumulate the block.
Okay, because, so you're gonna have a hole there?
Gonna have a hole.
Well, the other one
Yeah,
had a hole for months.
the owner understands.
Yeah.
Yeah, the owner understands he'll
Yeah,
have,
that is
he'll
gonna
have a
have-
hole there. Yeah, I cleared it with him before I
Okay.
brought it to you. And it's
Okay.
good.
Motion
He'll
on
just
the
have a
floor.
good shot view of the lagoon, that's all he's doing. Better view. All right, motion on the floor, sorry,
Easy
Roger.
access for the.
That's okay. Motion on the floor. Is there anybody opposed?
No, easy access for the raccoons.
Anybody opposed? Okay, you
I
need.
don't hear anybody opposed, so it's unanimously approved to work with David to get that all done over time. Okay, John, do you have any other new business? Anybody else?
No more new business, sir.
Okay, then, if nobody else has any other business, John, is there stuff on the manager's report that you?
Yeah, okay, under the general items, roof penetration pipes, all of Pinehurst Village and all the buildings in clusters E, D, and G, and really half of F in Sherwood have been covered with the screening material and secured. We may have even finished all of Sherwood, I just didn't have a report today. So we're moving along with that. A method to eliminate potential trip hazards from sidewalks to the pavers at pool entry is being worked on, and we haven't worked that out yet, so that's still working on. I'm sure we'll talk about it at the next pool meeting in August. Sidewalk grinding, all of Pinehurst, Sherwood, and Springdale Village sidewalks have been fixed. If you notice, if you're walking around on the sidewalks, you'll see an X on many of the places. That X will come off after a while. I've got several inches of it on my leg. The yellow where I spray and I get myself. But anyway, so the first 3 villages have been completed, and Jeff's doing that on a daily basis.
John, did you skip C?
C.
Fire
Followed it, I
extinguisher?
guess I did, thank you, Barbara. Fire extinguisher recertification. The fire department requires a repair and or replacement of certification. Testing is complete and all the extinguishers are recertified. Our cost this year was $23,7305. I think we have a budget of about $3,200 for it. So, because you never know how much is going to have to be replaced and how much can be recertified. But everything out there is fine, and the last inspection we had from the fire department, everything was fine, and that was before.
The meeting's about over, and so I can be there probably about 30 minutes or so.
Chris might wanna meet.
Sooner than that.
Okay, I will. And you need a shirt?
Chris,
Okay.
mute.
I will bring you a pair of pants.
He's away from his computer, so I can't even talk to him.
That's interesting.
What kind of pants, Chris?
Yeah. Long pants?
Okay. E.
All right.
E, arrow
Okay.
direction, issue cluster H. The board requested a vote if to remove and leave directional arrows in cluster H has been completed with the following results. 23 owners are in H. 20 ballots were received by the closing date of July 15th. 14 to remove, 5 not to remove, and 1 sent back that they abstained. So therefore, the request to have the arrows removed would be up to the board, but the owners have voted rather heavily in favor of removing the arrows.
Here, here.
So to have a motion to remove?
Democracy in the
I move to get rid of those arrows.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to remove the arrows from Springdale cluster
H.
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 Cluster H. Is there any further discussion? Okay.
Oh, I have
is there
quick-
anyone
All right,
opposed?
Dick Paccola.
When they paint over them, if they paint a square, the arrows won't show anymore.
Yeah, like they did, yeah, I understand, yeah.
If they painted them over,
Yeah,
the
we-
arrows are still there.
Last time we had black arrows.
Yeah.
All right, that's unanimous, Roger, and the celebration party will be at the Pacola unit this afternoon.
Yes!
Sounds good.
I've got a lot of southern comfort I want to get rid of.
Do you have something else on that manager's report that we need to?
Let me see, there's been 132 repairs or requests handled since last month's meeting by the office staff, or the staff. Excuse me, I'm sorry. That's it, Rod.
All right, thank you. We're gonna go on now to committee reports. Tammy, Paul?
Nothing this month. We will have a meeting next month. It's the first Tuesday at 10 a.m. and I don't know what for. I'll put an email out.
Okay, thank you. Chris, comments on, or report? Anything?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Landscape committee, John, you, oh, John's on the phone.
I'm sorry, I apologize. It's a call I've been expecting, but I didn't realize it'd come right now. Go ahead, I'm sorry, you had pool, what else did we have?
Do you have anything from the landscape committee or the building committee?
No, nothing at present for buildings.
Okay. How about?
No meeting, there'll be a meeting next month.
How about landscape?
Landscape, same way, there'll be a meeting next month.
Okay, security?
No meeting since the last one.
Okay. Shannon, is your committee still active, or is there no more information coming from that committee?
No, the committee voted to dissolve itself.
Okay. Any other committees that are normally meeting, John, that I'm missing?
Budget committee, we had a meeting today and set the agenda for the following meetings to work on the reserves and the operating budget. And it was a good meeting. Everybody was involved and it worked out very well. And the next meeting will be August the 22nd and on a Monday right here for those who are interested.
What time?
10 a.m. at the office.
All right. All right.
And we're on Zoom for those who.
All right. Thank you. Any other committee information that you know about? No. All right, how about director's comments? I don't have a list, so if you just want to go around the room and say yay or nay, please.
Danny?
Nay, nothing.
Monica? Nope. Shannon?
Nope.
Cookie? Nope. John?
No.
I have none. Tiffany? Nope. Tammy? Nope. Barb?
I just want to say I distributed to the board via email the presentation given out by Leland, their free seminars for board members and CAMs. And it's very informative. You can take a copy here. It also mentions the importance of having a hurricane/disaster committee and or at least a plan. And I don't know that that's something we actually have right now, and maybe we could bring that up at the workshop for the agenda next meeting.
I thank you for sending it. I use it as a checklist, and that's exactly what we do right now.
Okay.
The only thing, there was one issue about afterwards that we'll just have to look at, but we've had there's been a disaster program and a committee since before I was here.
Right, but I think as a part of our revamping the committee list, that the disaster preparedness committee was dissolved.
They abandoned it and they put it in my lap.
Okay, so I mean, at a minimum, we should look at formalizing a plan or
Well,
something.
we have,
There is a plan.
there has been a plan, and there is a plan.
Okay.
We utilized it at least 3 times since I've been
Okay,
here.
and one of the other important key is that the board is aware of the plan, so if it's something that maybe we can, similar to what we did with the
Take more help,
committee.
sure, like I said, it was a good checklist for me to take a look at it when you sent it, to see, do we do that? And that was good, it was excellent.
It's on the website. I thought we were gonna send that to cluster advisors.
So the plan is on the website?
No, the plan's not on the website, no, the fact that, you know, just we do something or have done something is the fact. No, what we were, the last cluster advisors was getting the county materials that was sent out. Barbara's got this is a different thing that.
This is for the association itself.
Dick, anything?
No.
Claire?
I just have one suggestion. those lovely Miami drains that we have in the parking lot.
Take them out?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The one in ours, the actual drain for it is constantly clogged, and we have, every time it sprinkles, we have a flood. And I'm sick of it.
We'll look into it, cause I mean, we have,
We're the same way, if not
Or worse, cause hers goes into ours.
yeah,
It's
We-
over ankle deep. You have to take your shoes off, go to your car.
for those downpours.
Oh, it's
it comes
awful.
out
It's
of
awful.
ours, yeah.
Yeah.
It goes down. Don't get
It
me
does
wrong.
go down.
But if we had 10 hours of rain, it could be awful.
Yeah,
I can only imagine.
no question about it, I mean, we've got.
It just can't go
we've
anywhere.
got the
There's nowhere
super
for it to
pump
go.
in- We've got the super pump in there, the one that chops up everything so it doesn't clog,
Yeah.
but it still backs up, and yeah, it's only designed to take so much. And whether we wanna go in there was a time, remember, we got a bid, if you recall, before we put that in, it was about $12,000 to redo the swales and everything to take that water away, and we decided not to do it.
Yeah, well,
The
Maybe
last
that was a
major
mistake.
storm that we just rained that we
Yeah, it is, I
had, we
agree.
had that much water that was going over the sidewalk around behind pool 5.
Yeah, I agree,
That was a
yeah,
lot of
it's,
rain.
and it's all
It was a lot of
designed,
rain.
it's all designed to go that way to get to the lake, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
we keep a rake and
I keep a rake to keep the drain clear, otherwise it doesn't drain.
We appreciate that, very
You know,
seriously.
cause you have to, but it sucks.
Yeah.
It does.
Good exercise.
Yeah.
Question
But don't
on
use it.
that. Can we put a larger culvert in down in front
That's what
of
the
$520,
$12,000 was,
Well,
to
no, down
redo
by-
the whole culvert.
down by 529 and going
Out in the
through?
back, yeah, because you got other drainage issues, if you start moving water real quick, there's other issues about going into units.
Right.
That's why it was really extensive, without going to an engineer to develop it, you know, we were gonna try to do it in-house.
Well, because at first, the runoff from Clare was supposed to go behind, back towards the lake, towards
It does.
Springdale, but it goes to the lake behind Lakeside.
Yeah, it's taken that way, because the other one is filled in totally.
Yeah.
And that was part of it. The major cost was, there's actually 3 swales there that would have to be totally redone. And now, and of course, we got a long-term issue that we don't really look at right now, that someday we might have to, is the lakes themselves are so full of silt.
That's right.
They're gonna have to be dredged someday, and that's mega
Major,
costs, major costs. So that's one
Well,
of the
we can
few
look at
reserves we
this
don't really have.
Are the lakes the property of Wildewood? They are.
Yes, sir.
Pam, did you cover everybody?
I got them.
Okay, so are there any owner comments for owners in the room?
I have a question,
We have a question.
a comment.
Go
Last night we had an issue at pool 5, with the lady in the hot tub with the dog. So we closed the pool, but nobody seems to know who did it.
Hey, I'm
But
sorry.
we've been having problems in front of our condo at
five
532 with big
Oh,
dogs. We have a
okay.
neighbor that has like a black lab. I've talked to John
Oh.
about it, I don't know what
Okay,
has
okay.
come about, but
Yeah.
not picking up
All
after
right,
the
what
dog.
about
And I got
the,
pictures of it, I got pictures and videos of it. And
Well,
I
that-
told him, I says, I'll take care of the problem, and they're not gonna like me.
Yeah, I'm still in the
It
book.
needs to stop. Why do we have all the big dogs?
Yeah,
And I know
was-
where it's coming from. We've got great big bulldog, we've now got the black lab that I talked to you on. What's going on with these big dogs coming in?
Every dog that we know, that I know about personally.
I called you and told you about it pooping in front of my
Oh,
place,
yeah.
and I told you who I suspected it was.
Yeah,
And you
I
were
call that
supposed to,
person.
and dog's still here.
Is dog still pooping?
I don't know, I hope so. The question is why are we allowing these big dogs?
Well, if there's service dogs.
If there's service dogs,
You can't.
I don't think, it doesn't have I've never seen it wear a service dog.
well, it doesn't have to.
They
but
don't have to, if they're
This
health
is an
animals.
issue in every community
That's
that
true.
I've
That
ever
is true.
managed,
Yeah,
and.
mental health.
So are
that
they on
were-
file with having a service
Yeah,
dog?
they had, that's right. The service dog, it
No, are
has
they
to
on
be
file?
certified, yes,
They are with that
Yes.
black lab.
yes.
That is a service dog.
I will check, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, yes, sir, but I will get back to you.
And then I get that,
Yeah.
but still pick up after yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I can.
They're all
tell how
supposed to
big the
pick
dog
up
is,
now their service
just
or
pick up
not.
after yourself.
Right.
I mean, we have a dog ourselves.
Well, John, at what point do you get
Yeah.
charged for not picking up? I mean,
It's up to the board, I bring it to the
There's a
board.
difference
The
between
documents
a
say that
service
the board
dog and a mental
assesses
health
fines.
dog.
So when we
Mental
get
health
an
dogs
issue
don't
that's
need to
not
wear.
My daughter
we
has
get an
PTSD.
issue that's
Yeah.
that's not resolved, I bring it to the board and say, this is the third time they've done it, what are you gonna do about
And
it?
it should be fine.
And can't we fine up to $100 a day?
$100 a day, maybe per dropping, I don't know.
Who's gonna count them?
Well, we have a camera in front of our place, so if every
It just
time,
keeps happening in front of our place.
Yeah,
The
it's
moment
not-
once
it's-
it was on the sidewalk, and I
It's
mean,
not a funny issue, no, I
That's
agree.
disgusting.
and when people look and they look up towards, oh, there's nobody home, I'm not gonna pick it up.
You can't do what I did when we lived up north, but we had that issue, and I just took it with a shovel and I put it on their front door.
That's
I already told John, I'm gonna
That's
take care of
right,
it
that's
if it
what you do.
continues.
Stop!
We'll do it.
I better will.
You take it
It's
back
not
home.
right.
If you know who's doing
If I know
it,
who's doing it.
Put it in a bag and right
But
by the door.
my concern is all the big dogs that are here.
Yeah, we have 7 or 8 in here that have certified.
Okay, perfect, that's, but it seems to be those are the dogs we're not picking up after.
John,
Could
those
be.
are service dogs, not emotional support dogs, correct?
either or, it doesn't, it's.
Barbara,
it's-
you've
you
gone to these
can't.
courses, I'm sure you know, it's, if you haven't, that it's the stickiest issue known
Yeah.
to
and you're not supposed to
human
ask.
living today.
Yeah, it's.
Service
ask.
dogs, you don't have to ask. Emotional support.
We
is
have
different.
certificates for
Yeah.
every large dog in here that I know of, it's been vetted with a certificate that is not gotten by internet perusal. It's truly
I'm just
yeah,
asking.
no, I know, it's, you know, but
But you
we
still
have-
can't bring a dog in the hot tub.
No,
No.
no.
Still can't
No.
sit where it wants to not pick up.
Right.
No.
They have to pick up.
I mean, are they
Yeah,
working on
no,
the dog in the hot
Jim-
tub thing?
Jim got that thing closed last night.
I know.
And so it's been taken care of, so.
Yeah, that was interesting.
But we don't know who did it and what.
Apparently not. I don't know if it
Okay.
was a guest or an owner, but
And our
nobody seems
camera
to.
back there
And
didn't
talking-
catch it. It catches a lot of, we have cameras in the front and the back. And it didn't catch that because she went across the bridge and it doesn't.
So it's over in the backside of Lakeside is where she
Yeah.
went.
Yeah, she went toward those buildings, yeah. Yeah, we have it on the guard report, and we have it, you know, but nobody seems to know who that was.
But Jim Bunson is still investigating,
Yeah, oh yeah,
according to Jim.
yeah, well, if anybody sees them again, you know, sees her again.
I got one more question
And
too.
the guard said that she was an older,
Yeah.
white-haired lady, short hair, and
Claire.
we don't have
There it
anybody.
is.
That's not older. That's not older. Tell him I'm not older. But I mean, I said, well, it's only about
500.
45.
But the dog had a hot pink collar on is all I heard. I'm like, hot pink collar.
With the
What
pool
kind of
pass?
Yes, with a pool pass.
Yeah.
The dog
Was
had
it
a
a
pool
guest
pass.
pass or an owner's
We
pass?
don't know. We don't know who it is.
Speaking,
That's-
I'm sorry, we're,
Yep, somebody else had a question there in the room?
Scott,
I
yes.
it just,
uh,
I noticed again, we're giving out passes on motorhomes. There's a motorhome set up over in,
Woodlawn?
Woodlawn.
yeah,
Parked across all the parking spots in front of condos. It's up on jacks and it's got more than a day pass on it.
yep, it has, and every owner there agrees to let him do it.
Okay.
He's got the approval of everybody to do it, and
It's
everybody
awful
gets a
looking.
day,
Looks like a
everybody gets
campground.
2 days, everybody gets 2 days to load and 1 day to leave. And that's what that is, it's a 3-day pass, I issued it myself.
Because it looks awful.
I don't happen to like covered cars either.
Yeah.
You know,
I
we
don't
have
either.
those with the blow around and everything else, but that's the rules, it's allowed.
Ugh. I just don't like anything anymore.
You know.
That's for the way of the world.
I know, it's very sad, yeah.
Communal living, quite frankly, sometimes you have to put up with a little bit less than your personal standards might be. And we all try to be courteous to each other in a way that works. And when somebody doesn't pick up after their dog, they're not courteous. When other things happen, they may not realize that
When
they're
they
doing
bring out
it,
the dog in the hot tub.
you know.
then. It's a
So,
public
common
hot
courtesy
tub.
dictates the whole place.
All right, I have to ask if there's anybody on the phone or on Zoom that has comments, owner? Any owner comments from the phone or Zoom? Okay, I'm not hearing any.
Next meeting?
So, beg your pardon?
Next meeting is gonna be the, I believe it's the 18th, I'm sorry, let me look at it.
I think it's August 9th for the workshop, John, and August 15th for the board meeting.
Sounds pretty good to me, but August 9th? Yep. 9th and 15th.
Okay.
Okay.
9th for the workshops at 2 o'clock, 15th for the board meeting at 2 o'clock.
10 o'clock on the 9th, right?
Yes, 10 o'clock, I'm sorry, I said
And
that
the
wrong.
board, both here.
Both at
Yes,
the
both
office.
here, yes.
Hear from the lawyer.
And now, if the question before we resign, not resign, I'm sorry, before we adjourn, if I get an opinion from the attorney, you know, within a day or two, do you want to consider a special board meeting to deal with it?
If Roger's back. I mean, not Roger, sorry, Roger, if Steve's back.
Steve's back tonight.
Oh, he is, oh, okay.
Yes, I would like to have a special
Yeah, I
meeting.
agree. And in the evening if possible.
We need to,
That would be wonderful.
we need to have-
Yeah, get it out of the way so it doesn't have to clutter up the next meeting, and then get people to know one way or another.
Can we do it in
Alright,
the
well,
evening?
pardon?
John, does there have to be a notice before that meeting?
Oh, 48 hours like anything else.
All right, 48 hours.
Because
Thank you.
Would it be possible to do that one in the evening?
Anything's
Early
possible,
evening?
but we can do it when your day's off if you want. Doesn't matter. I don't know when I'll have it to start. Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay. So we all agree we want a special meeting as soon as we get the word from the attorney?
Yes,
Yeah.
bye, thank you.
Get it over
Thank
with.
you.
Okay.
Got a lot of people.
Good job, Roger. Thank you.
Who's moving to adjourn?
I did,
All of us.
All of us,
the whole group.
unanimous.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.